Krishna indirectly. For example, consciousness is common to every living entity. But when consciousness is centered solely on Krishna, Krishna consciousness, it is pure. And when consciousness is centered on something other than Krishna, or when it is directed to sense gratification, it may be called non-Krishna consciousness. Thus, it is in the polluted state that the conception of non-Krishna comes. In the pure state, however, there is nothing but Krishna consciousness.
Any questions so far?
Was that salt that you said was part of the sky and then part of everything else?
Sound.
Sound.
Oh, sound. Oh, okay. I didn't hear you properly. I'm sorry. Thank
Well,
you.
the salt is, that's what the
Salt.
taste.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Salt
right.
water.
Yeah.
What's the salt of the earth? Didn't they say the salt of the earth?
Yeah, the salt of the earth. I don't know what it means. Kitamala, what's, or John Marani, what's the salt of the earth mean? Oh, Jai Radhe. That's what I meant. I don't know why I said John Marani. It's a J.
Usually somebody whose salt of the earth is like very down to earth. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we got sound and salt out of the way.
So we get that so far, that all the qualities in Shantaras will be in the others. It's a building. Active interest in Krishna, the understanding that Krishna is mine and that I am Krishna's, and that my business is therefore to satisfy the senses of Krishna, is typical of a higher stage than the neutrality of Shantaras. Simply by understanding the greatness of Krishna, one achieves the status of Shantaras, in which the worshipable object may be the impersonal Brahman or Paramatma. Worship of the impersonal Brahman and the Paramatma is conducted by those engaged in empiric philosophical speculation and mystic yoga. But when one develops even further in Krishna consciousness or spiritual understanding, he can appreciate that the Paramatma, the supersoul, is his eternal worshipable object and master, and that he surrenders unto him. Bahunam janmanam mante jnanavanmam prapadyante, Bhagavad Gita 7:19. After many, many births of worshiping Brahman and Paramatma, when one surrenders unto Vasudeva as the Supreme Master and accepts himself as the eternal servant of Vasudeva, he becomes a great transcendentally realized soul. At that time, due to his intimate relationship with the Supreme Absolute Truth, the devotee begins to render some sort of transcendental loving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, the neutral relationship known as Shantaras is transformed into Dasyaras, servitorship. So it develops from Shantaras. One realizes the object of his worship, and it develops, and that love grows, so therefore he wants to serve. It's an automatic concomitant factor, as he said.
Why do you look at me?
You said that. It comes automatically. It's a development. Love grows. Ever increasing. And we can find its perverted reflection here in the material world of pure love. But it can't be hidden, you know, it has to show somehow. Everybody, like Prabhupada said, everyone is serving someone or something. You're either serving yourself, if nobody else, or your spouse, or your children, you're serving your boss. If you don't have children, you're serving your pets, you know, you're serving someone, if it's not just your own senses, you know. because that's the nature of the soul, to serve. No? You want to read now?
Where are you up to? Also in your service, so what you want to do, everyone has to serve. So you want to find that person who you can serve that will actually satisfy you the most. Who do you think that might be?
Krishna.
Yes, that's it. And you could serve your children so nicely and then they don't care, they do whatever they want. Serve your husband, or in my case, I serve my wife so great. Okay, let me just read some more. On the platform of Dasya Ras, one exhibits the greatest quantity of awe and renovation for the Supreme Lord. Quantity. Isn't that quantity?
Yeah.
So this is saying that in Shantaras, you don't have such awe and veneration as much as you do the greatest in Dasya. As he's so great, I just want to serve him. So in Shanta, you don't have as much. You would think that maybe that would be the most awe and reverence, but it's actually in Dasaras. This is going to be on the test, by the way.
I think because you act on it more, you know, you're
Well, you act
compelled to
because you
act on
feel
it.
you have this on. When
It's-
you have this, you want to serve that person.
yeah.
I mean, even a great person materially, you want to do something for him. Like some great person, he wants a glass of water. You run, get him a glass of water. You want to do that. So here that's the platform. It's on the platform of Dasya Ras, servitorship. One exhibits the greatest quantity of awe and veneration for the Supreme Lord. That is in Dasya Ras, one appreciates the greatness of the Supreme Lord. It should be noted here that on the platform of Shantaras, there is no spiritual activity, but on the platform of Dasya Ras, service begins. Thus, in Dasya Ras, the quality of Shantaras is exhibited. And in addition, there is consciousness of the transcendental taste of service. Any questions on that? In Sakyaras, fraternity, the transcendental qualities of Shanta Ras and Dasya Ras are certainly present. But beyond these, there is another quality, confidential attachment, which is pure transcendental love. This confidential attachment for the Supreme Personality is technically known as Vishramba. On the platform of Vishramba, there is no sense of awe and veneration toward the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, in the transcendental fraternity relationship, Sakya Ras, there are three transcendental characteristics: the sense of greatness, the sense of service, and the sense of intimacy without awe and veneration. So I'll get to that in a minute. Let me finish this sentence. Thus, Sakya Ras adds one transcendental quality to the qualities of Shanta and Dasya Ras. So the quality it adds, it actually takes away the awe and veneration. So how is it higher? You would think, but it is higher. I mean, even in the people, you have some great person, but then their family don't have that same awe and veneration for that person. They have a personal relationship with him. So the cowherd boys who have this friendly relationship with Krishna, see Krishna, there are two types of cowherd boys, but let's say see Krishna more as an equal. and they don't, you know, you don't have awe and veneration for an equal. I just thought of this. I remember seeing this old movie, black and white movie. That was before color existed. And in it, I think it was, I mean, some of you might even know this movie, but not too many of you would know it. But there was this person who owned this big, huge department store. He was a millionaire, and then the workers were like against, you know, they were protesting different things. So he decided to like go undercover and work in this department store. Pretty sure it was Macy's, but I'm not positive. And he met this lady, and he was friends with this lady, and then they went and they had a meeting because he was on the worker side, you know, even though he was really the owner. And anyway, they found out that who he was later. So they had a real personal relationship, but then they had some more awe and veneration towards him after they found out who he actually was. So sometimes you may start out with awe and veneration, and then when you get to know the person better, you have more of a friendly relationship. That's where it usually goes. But in this movie, they did something a little differently. So next.
Similarly,
These are all the rasas we're going through, which is really nice. And everyone should have some idea of these different rasas.
5 primary. We already talked about the secondary. Similarly, on the platform of parental affection, Vatsalya Ras, there are 4 qualities. In addition to the 3 qualities already mentioned, there is the sense that the Supreme Lord is dependent on the mercy of the devotee. As a parent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the devotee sometimes chastises the Lord and considers himself the Lord's maintainer. The transcendental sense of becoming the maintainer of the Supreme Maintainer is very pleasing to both the devotee and the Supreme Lord. We were talking about that already, about how you have to chastise him. He runs out without his something, you know, oh, you forgot your lunch. Or, what was that?
I don't know. But I do know that it's a higher platform because you're in one sense, externally, you're not even equal, you're superior to him. And he enjoys that. And you treat him as your child. And you have to correct him. You have to chastise him sometimes. If he does something wrong. His mother tied him to a mortar just to keep him from, you know, try to, she had a stick, but he got scared. And he was really scared. It's not like, oh, I'm God, I know it's not, she's not going to hit me. He was scared. It was real. He was experiencing that. It was all done by Yoga Maya, so he can enjoy. So he likes very much when his parents, you know, they chastise him or whatever they do with him. He actually he enjoys that rasa.
And even when he's playing with the cowherd boys, sometimes he won't come back for dinner. The Mother Yashoda has to go out and call him. And maybe he doesn't like it so much, but he has to come in.
Yeah. His friends also get upset with him when she's calling. If you go home now, now when we're playing at our summit, they use the word summit, like the highest peak of our play, and they're always at that peak and always going higher. But then we're not gonna let you play with us anymore.
Yeah.
So then he's afraid, so he stays and plays longer.
Yeah, doesn't she have to send someone to get him then?
Well, here maybe
He's not-
she goes herself.
She's not listening to her, so she sends someone.
Yeah. So I mean, and this is a higher relationship, a parent.
But he needs me, otherwise he won't eat. You know, I have to feed him. I have to bathe him. I have to dress him. I have to make sure he follows the, proper rules.
It's like a burden of love, but it's not really a burden. It's
Yeah.
like everything. It's a spiritual world. It's not like, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. I got these other things I got to do. Oh man. I mean, she had that. She's feeding him, but she has a pot boiling over. I got to go get this pot, puts him down. Oh, you put me down?
Yeah.
No.
See what I do
I'm
now.
hungry. No, that's it. I've had it.
The Lord instructed Srila Rupa Goswami to write the transcendental literature named Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the science of devotional service, and indicate therein the substance of the 5 transcendental relationships with the Lord: Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya Ras. It is explained in the great literature how the transcendental relationship of Shanta Ras, taking the shape of unflinching faith in Krishna, is further developed into Dasya Ras with the spirit of service, and then to Sakya Ras, or the undeterred fraternity, and further to the transcendental platform of parental love, wherein one feels himself to be maintaining the Lord. All these transcendental relationships culminate on the highest platform, conjugal love, Madhurya Ras, wherein they all exist simultaneously. So all those previous qualities that are in Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya are in Madhurya. It culminates.
Well, whatever the ones that are lower are in those that are higher.
Yeah.
And that's the highest. And in the Nectar of Devotion that we have, which is a summary study of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it gives more detailed information about these things, different rasas.
And Prabhupada has said, we use the term higher here, but whatever our eternal relationship with Krishna is, will seem like the highest to us. We'll be fully satisfied and think that there's nothing greater.
It says that the mango is the king of fruits, but someone might like a banana or an apple better than a mango. So it's their taste. So we might like this other relationship better, but we should know what is that relationship, which includes all the other relationships, all the things you find in the others.
Yeah, it's more intimate. And I believe that's the end of this chapter. Do you believe it?
It's hard to believe, but
Next to the
so
pictures.
anyone have any questions or comments?
If you don't have questions, we will.
I have
Could we go over the Rasas again, just quick, like the short definition of them?
as soon as she saw this paper, she came up with a question.
Oh, I had it. I was just trying to find my button.
Yes.
She's smart.
And if you want to read further on them, you can also read the Nectar of Devotion, where Rupa Goswami, he elaborates and gives examples and stories, and it's a wonderful, wonderful book. The science of devotional service.
It's so wonderful because he, without a computer, without Google, he researched all the different scriptures and got all this evidence to back up all these different things that he says. So it's like, how can you do that? It's he's not an ordinary living entity.
Yeah.
But even if we tried to do something like that with with looking things up through the internet, it would be practically impossible. Probably would be. But he did all this. So it's so wonderful because it's so authoritative. In other words, I can say something, but then I have to be able to back it up where it is in the scriptures. So he does do that, and it's so wonderful.
And he tells how he did it. He got direct inspiration from the Lord. He says in the verse that he's inspired to write, due to his Inspiration from Lord Chaitanya. Directly instructed him to write. Inspiration coming. So she wants to hear more about the Shanta Ras, which has the two qualities, which is unflinching faith in Krishna and the cessation of material desires.
Okay.
And then it develops further into Dasya, which has
That's
those
servitor.
two as servitorship, right?
With awe and the greatest awe and veneration.
Right, greatest awe and veneration. And then it develops further from Dasya to fraternity.
Friendship, they're friends.
Friends.
And
That's
then-
Vishwambar, right?
It didn't say, it, no,
Somewhere
it's a
says
word
Vishwambar.
similar to Vishwambar, but it's Vipra, what is it?
Oh, there was, I read Vishwambar.
Vishramba.
Vishwambar, yeah.
Yeah.
Vishwambar, okay.
Vishwambar, yeah. Because Bhakti Vishwambar Madhava Maharaj, he wanted that Vishwambar in there because of this, the relationship the cowherd boys have, Vishwambar. And then that has the quality of being equal with the Lord, right?
No, yeah, no more awe and
No more awe and veneration.
just, yeah, basically equal.
And then it develops further into the parental, where the devotee feels like the Lord needs them. The Lord's dependent on them. Do you remember more about that?
Move what?
Parental.
Parental is,
So,
it's, he is dependent
Mhm.
on the devotee.
Has the other qualities. What's that? And then they all culminate in the Madhurya Ras, the conjugal.
So he doesn't say much about Mataji.
Not at this point. No.
But Lord Chaitanya himself did not speak much about Madhurya Ras, only to those devotees who could actually understand. Very select few. Most people he spoke to about chanting Hare Krishna. That's for everybody. But there's certain people that were very devotional, very scholarly. You might speak to them about the higher conjugal relationships.
There's an intense feeling that Krishna is mine and I am Krishna's. And I want to satisfy his senses. It develops even further. He has a question.
Yes, Nanda Gopal.
Thank you, sir. So I heard or understood that being a servitor is a kind of essence in all the rasas. But from what I heard right now, it seems like it was difficult for me to understand that how one serves in the Shanta ras, because you develop to Dasya after Shanta. So can you elaborate on that how service is being executed in the Shanta ras?
Well, in Shantaras, you'll do service, but not so much even by choice. If Krishna wants, he uses you in a certain way. So it's not like you have any choice in the matter. It's like you might be a blade of grass and Krishna steps on you. Is this flute also?
I believe so.
Yeah, it's flute too. His flute gives him service, but it's only when Krishna wants, he picks up his flute. So it's a little different than the others. The others can come, bring Krishna his shoes, do something personally to do service. In other words, even in relationships, it says that the best servant is one who can anticipate what the spiritual master wants and give it to him even before he asks. So that would be more of Dasya Ras, where you can get him something and serve him. You know, this is what he wants. With Srila Prabhupada, if you look at some videos of Prabhupada's servants who were talking about Prabhupada, Prabhupada would just, like do some little gesture with his head and they knew what he wanted and they just did it. So,
Just so ready for anything, ready.
yeah, of course,
they
they
glance.
weren't always ready, because sometimes they'd ring the bell and they're somewhere else, but most of the time,
The first class servants are.
yeah, the first class servant. The second class is he would ask them for something and then they would do it. So there's in Shantaras, it's only when Krishna does something and use it. You don't make any initiative whatsoever to do any service. You're just there, available when Krishna wants. So I think that's a big difference.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Any other questions or comments?
So that is the end of the first chapter. We just finished it today.
Part one.
Part one. Yeah, part one. I don't know how far part one goes.
Okay. What were you reading before part one?
Part one. The introduction.
What was the first chapter?
Chapter one.
This is the first chapter.
Teachings to Rupa Goswami's chapter one. I don't know, it says part one.
Oh, okay, part one. Okay.
Introduction was real long. This is all about teachings of Rupa Goswami. Should we
Yeah.
ask some questions? We have a
We
little
got some
time.
questions. Oh, we got a lot of time, 15 minutes. Okay, this is the top one. I don't know why.
You starting here? These are ones we didn't ask.
No, I don't want to ask some of these. You want to talk, or you look at this and I'll talk. One person could talk, one person could look.
Okay, what do you want to do?
But get like that first question is not very good. So anyway, this highest ras, Madhurya ras, there are, Prabhupada says, unscrupulous people who do Srimad Bhagavatam Shaptaha, where they read for 7 days the Bhagavatam and they go immediately to the 10th canto and read about the pastimes between Krishna and the gopis. And this is like very offensive. And the 10th canto is considered Krishna's beautiful face. And you're supposed to go through the first 9 cantos before you read the 10th canto. And that prepares your mentality to understand the greatness of Krishna. If you don't understand how great he is, and you think about Krishna with the gopis, you'll definitely misunderstand it to be mundane. Some boy with a bunch of girls. And it's offensive. So therefore, one should never start with the conjugal pastimes. And Lord Chaitanya, as I said, only spoke to a few people. There are some people who criticize Prabhupada because he just talks about how you're not that body. We got to go further to these understanding this Madhurya ras. But Prabhupada gave us everything. He said everything we need to know is in his books. All we need to know is study his books and you go back home, back to Godhead. And even if you don't know so many intimate pastimes of Radha and Krishna, you still go back home, back to Godhead. Somebody was going to say something. I had a question.
Yeah, I was wondering, a lot of times one of the first books we read when it comes to Krishna consciousness is Krishna book. And that's based on the 10th canto. So is that bad? I mean, it doesn't talk only about the intimate pastimes, but
right. Prabhupada wrote it so that people won't misunderstand. And before you get to the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, there's so much that tells you about how Krishna is God. Nobody else can do these things. So you hear that. It's written in such a way, it's a summary study. So it's not telling you the whole 10th canto, but it's a summary study because he didn't know if he would be able to finish. So he felt that was very important for us to hear. It's really nectar. Krishna book is really nectar here in these pastimes.
yeah, it's very nice.
Teachings of Lord Chaitanya is a summary study of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Picked up some.
Yeah, but he was
Some
able to
points.
finish, and he was able to finish the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and he was also able to finish some of the 10 canto, but he didn't complete the whole 10 canto. He didn't complete much of it, but he did do some of the 10 canto. So, and then he, went back to Krishna.
So the first question we're going to ask.
Oh, yeah, I like that question.
Can someone name,
You got to raise your
should
hand.
they name one or all of them? One of the 6 characteristics of surrender. We've asked this a few times.
About 50 times.
Nandagopal?
Always remember Krishna.
It's not one of the ones listed here. Jai Radhe?
You have no interest separate than Krishna?
Yes, no separate interest than the interest of the Lord. Yep. Anyone else?
Can I try one more time?
Sure.
You do everything for Krishna, like offer everything to Krishna.
I wouldn't accept that.
No, it's
Okay.
not
You
exactly.
do that. You still get one more time. You get 3 strikes.
Shri? Is that Vallabhi Gopi or Shri?
Vallavi Gopi Mataji. Accept which are favorable for devotional service.
Yes.
Okay.
Kitamala?
We got 2.
Always be fully dependent on Krishna.
Yes. Jai Radhe?
Reject things that are unfavorable for devotional service?
Yes. Ganapati Govind? Ganapati Govind, are you there?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Mataji, can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Yeah, conviction that Krishna will always give protection.
Yes.
Yes. And one more. Which one didn't we do? This one. One more.
Should I go?
Who said that?
He said it.
Oh, was anybody who didn't answer yet that would like to? Okay, so. Okay,
They
I'll
all did
try
one.
Gita Mala.
Always be humble
And
And
Meek.
and meek.
yes,
yes,
meek and humble.
very good.
Okay, we got them all.
Should we just ask some of these? or-
Yeah, you could have some.
Okay, who
Wait,
is
we got to put your hand down. Okay, and then you raise your hand if you want to answer.
who's older, Rupa Goswami or Sanatana Goswami? It's an easy one.
Jai Radhe, she had a hand up first.
Sanatana Goswami?
Right.
What are you doing?
You can ask her.
I have a different question. How many times did it flood in Prayag?
We can ask it now.
Hmm?
You can't ask that now.
We have a lot of questions.
Never, except one time.
Right, can you explain?
Can you raise your hand too?
How did it flood? What's the
When,
characteristic of the flood?
yes, when Lord Chaitanya visited Varanasi,
When he visited where?
Varanasi, Prayag.
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 Yeah. It was Prayag or Allahabad.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes, it flooded with love of God.
Okay.
You wanna answer?
I want to pick people here and don't give any hints. Okay. Who went with Rupa Goswami to Prayag? Itamala.
I had my hand up by mistake.
Oh,
Okay.
anybody know?
Who went with Rupa Goswami to Prayag? You're gonna know it when I tell you. Shri.
Paramananda.
Sorry. Who?
Paramananda Puri.
No.
Nope.
What's the question, Prabhu? Sorry.
That's okay. Who went with Rupa Goswami to Prayag?
Who went to it? Rupa Goswami?
Yes.
I don't know. Sorry, Prabhu.
Vallabha.
His younger brother.
Oh.
Oh, sorry.
Who is Vallabha?
His younger brother.
Hands up. Very good.
Okay, what two rivers meet at Prayag or Allahabad? Raise your hand. Okay, Nanda Gopal.
The Ganges and Yamuna.
Yes, very good. What was the name of the ghat where Lord Chaitanya instructed Rupa Goswami, and how many days did he instruct him? Two questions here. Okay, let's do, how many days did he instruct him? That's easy. Shri.
30 days, Prabhu.
30? No.
Yes.
I know the answer.
Nanda Gopal cheated. He told everybody.
He
He doesn't want us to, whether we call him or not. It's 10 days. He put up his 10 fingers.
But did anyone know where?
And where? Where? That's a good question.
If you know how many days, it kind of helps with the name of where.
I know the
She
guy.
can't help
Oh.
it.
They don't know. They're not saying.
Be patient. Let him think. I'm not doing this with her anymore. Okay, what river is the Dasavameda Ghat located on? Gita.
Jamuna?
Well, it was a 50-50 chance and you got it wrong.
The Ganges.
Yeah,
Right.
the Ganges. Well, this one they're not gonna know, I don't think. Right? Well, you want to, okay, we don't know if you'll know this. Mahaprabhu instructed Rupa Goswami in 3 things. Can you name any one of these things? I think it's a little hard
I
myself.
thought they'd get the last one. 'Cause we just-
Yeah, anyone, just guess, somebody guess.
What they talk
Okay,
about?
Nanda Gopal.
Science of Krishna.
No.
Yeah, right there.
Yes, yes. I just had
Devotional
a
service.
excitement. What?
Devotional service.
Yes,
Principles of devotional
the
service.
truth of
Oh my God,
Krishna,
yeah.
the principles of devotional service,
And
and the transcendental what? Starts with an M. Chaitanya.
Mellows.
Yes, mellows, transcendental mellows or relationships with Krishna. You guys did good, didn't think you'd know that? Very good. In what book did Rupa Goswami write about these 3 topics, which was taught by Mahaprabhu? You want me to ask the question again? Because nobody? You want to
you can
guess?
guess. How many books
Upadesham,
did they write
is
that
it
you know?
Upadeshamrita?
No.
No, nice try though.
Can you repeat the question, Prabhu?
In what book did Rupa Goswami write about these 3 topics, which was taught by Mahaprabhu? Okay, Ganapati Govind. You got to unmute yourself.
Yeah. Can you hear me, Prabhuji? Nectar of Devotion.
Yes, Bhakti
No.
Rasamrita Sindhu,
No,
actually.
but yeah.
Bhakti
Yeah.
Rasamrita Sindhu.
I
We're
agree.
not, we
Prabhupada
cannot
wrote it.
accept the nectar
No.
devotion.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. I was sitting there thinking nectar of devotion, but I couldn't think of the Sanskrit.
Well, he couldn't either.
It was Prabhupada who wrote the Nectar Devotion.
Okay. I don't know if this, you could read this and see if we should ask it. I'm gonna.
You can skip it. We don't have much time.
What is the Sanskrit word for universe? Nanda Gopal.
Brahmand.
No. Shri. Chaitanya.
That's what he said.
He said Brahman.
He put a D at the end, didn't you? Brahmand.
I
That's
said
right.
Brahmand.
Brahman.
With the N at the end or a D?
D.
Yeah.
Brahmand.
He just didn't pronounce the last A, Brahmand. That's what I
Okay.
heard.
Okay, I didn't hear that.
Okay.
And I wanted someone else to get it.
Yes.
What is the length? What is the length and breadth? Or the size of the soul?
Chaitanya.
It's 10 times smaller than the tip of a hair.
Oh, yeah.
So,
No.
Not exactly.
No.
You got the
You got the hair part right.
close.
I have another one.
What?
What?
I have another answer. Can I tell?
No, let's see. We're gonna give someone else a chance.
Okay, sure.
Gashi.
It's a 10,000 part of the hair.
Right,
Tip of the hair.
right.
Hey, it's 8 o'clock. Okay, we asked
What
a
are
couple
the-
more.
What are the two kinds of living entities that we spoke about in this chapter?
Okay, my poor Shashi.
No, Prabhu, by mistake.
Oh,
Yeah.
you gotta put your hand down. Okay, my poor Shashi.
I forgot to take off my hands, Prabhu.
I know.
Nobody?
Okay, wait. We'll give some hints.
We just don't have time, so I'm trying to hurry.
We have to do everything.
Oh.
What's the question again? What are the two kinds of living entities? That's it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Sanskrit or English? Ganapati Govind.
The fallible and the infallible.
I don't know what he said.
Infallible and infallible. That's another way of saying it.
Yeah, but that's right, but we're gonna give you full credit, but it's the eternally liberated and the eternally conditioned. But fallible and infallible saying the same thing. Okay, this one I don't think you'll get. What are the two types of eternally conditioned living entities? First one begins with an M. The second one begins with an N.
I can tell the N.
What's that?
Nitya Baddhas.
No, but
No?
that's the one before. What are the two kinds
Oh,
of?
Nitya Baddhas and Nitya Siddhas. Okay. So after Nitya Baddhas, you're asking for two
What are
now?
two types of eternally conditioned living entities? Two types. They just, one is something and the other is non-something.
Oh,
One is, and the other is.
surrendered and non-surrendered. Oh, you said M. Okay.
Oh, the Gopi.
Material and non-material.
No, because we're saying condition.
They're both conditioned.
They're both conditioned.
Is that Madhavakanta? MKD?
Moving, non-moving.
Yes,
Very
Hari
good,
bol.
very good.
Well, I don't think that would be so hard. Okay, ask a question quick while he still has his hand up so I can ask him.
He's driving, so.
He's
Oh, he's driving.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Oh, we we talked about something in this chapter. By the grace of Lord Krishna, one gets what?
One gets,
Something.
that one is, everyone should know.
Mercy, I don't know.
Jai Radhe.
Devotional service?
No.
What do you
no.
get before devotional service?
Okay, Omeo.
That connects with you.
Association of pure devotees
Close.
and spiritual master.
Yes.
And by the mercy of the bona fide spiritual master, what do you get?
Krishna.
Krishna.
Yes. Yes.
And by the mercy of both the Lord and the spiritual master, what do you get?
Krishna Prema.
Well, that no. Wait.
Devotional service.
It's yeah, you're all right, but it's the seed, the Bhakti-lata Bij
Yeah.
by them.
It's
planted.
awakened in the
Yeah,
heart.
but they're not gonna. That's too.
And how do you water this seed?
That's a good question.
That sown.
With a hose?
Yes.
What kind of hose?
Yes. What
Chanting
kind
of the holy name.
It's a fire hose.
We didn't call on you.
Hearing and chanting.
And we didn't call on you either. Jai Radhe.
Following instructions.
The Maha Mantra. Chanting the Maha Mantra.
Yes.
Hearing and chanting.
Yeah.
Water. That's right. Devotional service. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam. Okay. What makes one a civilized human being?
According to the Vedas, no.
I was just gonna say drinking wine. Then he said according to the Vedas.
What kind of
You attend every
association
single
do you-
class that's online, and that's what you come up with.
But then you said according to the Vedas.
Everybody go in.
Is it the Dvija part? I mean, surrendering to a spiritual master, accepting initiation.
It didn't mention that in this chapter.
No, I
Exactly.
mean, that's
It's-
even more advanced than just,
Yeah. Civilized. But that is civilized.
yeah, that certainly is, but once you don't even have to be that far, pure to be civilized. What do you have to do to be civilized? What makes one a civilized human being? Well, I'm gonna say it
Yeah.
because it's not gonna be so easy. He understands the spiritual science. He is clean in habits and has faith in the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So basically, he believes in God and he's clean. That makes him civilized.
And what's a Sanskrit word for those type of people?
Dira.
Hmm.
It starts with let's say, Pallavi Gopi.
Brahmana?
Aryan.
Yes.
Oh, Arya.
Aryans,
That's
but
why.
Somebody answered without raising their hands and they were wrong. Okay, we've got a couple more questions maybe.
Mhm.
This one I know we didn't do.
We didn't do-
I don't think so. Oh,
Yeah,
no,
we
you
did.
did it, you did it.
Yeah.
Okay, she did it out of order, so I don't know. Okay,
Any questions?
we don't have any more questions.
No one's-
You guys did real good. You'll pass, everybody passed the first chapter.
You didn't do this one. You didn't want to do it.
Okay. I didn't know, I didn't look at it. Okay, anyway, thank you all for participating.
That's chapter 1.
Chapter 2, starting next week, we're just moving right through this.
So you all know the 5 rasas? We should know those.
Yeah, you should know those.
Anybody doesn't know them? Hands raised. Chaitanya, what, don't tell me what you don't know. You get your hand up. Ganapati Govind, you want to say something?
No, I was just going to answer the 5 rasas, Mataji.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, Dasya, Sakhya, Shanta, Vatsalya, and Madhurya.
Very good. Can anyone do them in the proper order?
Yeah. Starting with the,
Don't tell them what to start with.
I can.
Okay, let's try Gita Mala.
Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya.
did you leave one out?
She said 5.
Did she? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Janavarani?
Unless there's a 6th one I don't know.
Janavarani?
John Varani, your hand is up and you're muted.
Shantaras, then Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya.
Very good.
Very good. Okay. Okay, I think we can end now. We already went over. Thank you all for still continuing this austerity. And we'll see you
Next week we begin chapter 2. It's
What's
on
it called?
Sanatana Goswami. Lord Chaitanya's teachings to Sanatana Goswami.
Yes.
It's just called Sanatana Goswami.
It's called Sanatana Goswami.
Yeah, I think there's 2 chapters. One Sanatana Goswami, and then the Lord instructs Sanatana Goswami.
Anyway, we'll find out. We'll read it this week and we'll ask you questions and read it and ask questions next week. So be prepared.
It's good to know these Goswamis in our line, you know. And they were special devotees from birth. They're Vaishnavas, born in an exalted family, Saraswat Brahmin family. And even when they were under the Nawab Hussein Shah, they built their environment. They created Vrindavan where they lived. They had a Radhakund, a Shamakund. Daily they'd have Bhagavatam classes, they'd have Vaishnavas over. So we shouldn't think that even though they were working for the Nawab, they weren't really, you know, degraded in any way in their behavior and their activities. They were always exalted Vaishnavas. I just like to remember that personally.
But what if they weren't always? What's the difference? I mean, people can, Prabhupada said how, because he was saying that you're all eternally liberated or something. He said something to the devotees. He says, how can we be? Brahmananda was asking. We used to eat meat, we did this, we did that. Prabhupada said that was all superficial.
He didn't say eternally liberated.
Maybe
right.
not.
These devotees are eternally liberated souls coming. But the ones Prabhupada, they said, how can you say that your spiritual master sent us?
Oh yeah, Bhakti Siddhanta
Yeah,
sent
he
us.
sent
Right,
us.
right, that was it. But anyway, so sometimes people may be doing things externally not very good and then become completely surrendered. They can also
become
you know,
eternally liberated souls. Yeah. It's true.
But we know that the Goswamis were personal associates with the Lord.
Yeah.
There's with Rupa Manjari. I mean, they have they're gopis.
And he chose them to expound on the science of devotional service. I mean, he could have done it himself. I mean, he left the Shikshastika, but he instructed them, you know, to write the Bhakti Shastras.
Okay, thank you all very much. That's all for our obeisances to all the Vaishnava devotees. Vancha Kopa to this
Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Antakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai.
Mohan Prabhu, Her Grace Mataji ki jai.
Jai. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Bol.